With the release of Stardew Valley 1.6, it is time to talk about items that make getting perfection a little bit easier. I'm going to go through a list of items here that are absolutely game changing. Before we get into the items, if you could just subscribe to the channel, it would really help me out. Once I get to 100,000 subscribers, I will do this full time. You're going to see huge videos every single week from myself, including 100-day videos and mega movies. Let's get straight into the first item. We are going to talk about the big chest. Now, you can purchase this from Robin for just 5,000 gold, and it is so worth it. The big chest can store way more items, almost double the amount of items that your regular chest can store. Now, the 5,000 gold may upset you at the start of the game, but once you start selling those crops and making some decent money, I recommend getting the big chest as quickly as possible. All you need to make it is some wood and copper bars. And all of these resources can be obtained at the very start of the game. From day 1, you can get access to wood, hundreds of wood, no problem. And from day 5, you can enter the mines and you can farm as much copper as you wish. You can even put the big chest down upon a regular chest and it will auto-transfer all of the inventory for you, so you don't even have to take your items out and put them into the new chest. It's absolutely amazing quality of life update. With all of the new inventory spaces in your big chest, you will now have a lot more space in your house and around your farm to manage it the way you want. Combine a few big chests with the crafting bench and it becomes very simple to craft all of the items in the game. Next up, we are going to talk about the power of the Dehydrator. Now, the Dehydrator is a type of artisan equipment that is used to create raisins and dried mushrooms and fruit. It can be crafted after purchasing the recipe from Pierre for 10,000 gold. That is quite expensive early on, but it is absolutely worth saving up to get that. Now, if you're really strapped on cash, it is possible to get it from the prize machine in Mayor Lewis's Manor as the 12th prize. It's also included for free if you select the Mushroom Cave. When Demetrius visits your farm, he'll give you an option to choose either the Bat or the Mushroom Cave. Now, to make the Dehydrator, you just need 30 wood, 2 clay and 1 fire quartz. It's relatively cheap, so you could bang out a good few of these early on if you did save up and purchase the actual recipe. Now, you're always going to make a profit from the Dehydrator because it will take the mushrooms that you put in, or the fruit, and the sell price will always be 7.5 times the base price plus 25. So even if you were to put in 5 Iridium Star purple mushrooms, you would get back dried purple mushrooms, but it would actually sell for more than the 5 Iridium Star purple mushrooms. So Dehydrators are absolutely amazing, and they can be comboed up with really cool things. If we take rhubarb for example, normally you can't eat rhubarb, but if you dry the rhubarb up, you can then eat it, and you can get some pretty cool stats off it, 275 energy and 123 health. So it's a lovely new addition to Stardew Valley, and it will make for some new gameplay combos that you will see coming up in my future videos. The Dehydrator and the mushroom log goes very well together. My advice would be to get maybe 4 or 6 mushroom logs, put them all together, surround them by a specific type of tree. Depending on the type of tree, the mushroom log can generate specific types of mushrooms. So if you use the mystic trees, for example, you get lots of purple mushrooms and you will end up making absolute tons of money. So there is a lot of value in the dried fruit. Now, it does take a full day for a Dehydrator to work. So in order to make some really good money, you will need a lot of Dehydrators on the farm to start making really good profits from it. There's one more secret technique you can use with a Dehydrator. If you put 5 grapes into a Dehydrator, you're going to get back raisins. Now, if you put raisins into a Junimo hut, there's a chance the Junimos may pick up double the crop when they're harvesting your farm, and that can be quite potent if you have a huge farm filled up with crops and you have loads of Junimo huts, and all of those Junimo huts have raisins inside. So the Dehydrator is not to be snuffed at. It is a very good artisan machine, and I cannot wait to use it in my future 100-day challenges. The next new item we're going to talk about is the bait maker. Now, the bait maker is absolutely amazing at saving you time, and it also makes it a lot easier to get perfection. If you catch a fish, you can put that fish into the bait maker, and you can put any fish into this, a regular fish, a legendary fish, rare fish from the mines. It doesn't matter. If it is a fish, it can go into the bait maker and you'll get back bait specific to that fish. Now, if you equip that bait onto your rod, your chances of actually pulling up that fish is significantly increased. It's not guaranteed, but it's a very good chance you will get it if that fish is accessible. So it doesn't work like the magic bait. The fish has to be available to capture. Otherwise the bait just won't work. You'll just pull up some other random fish, so just take that into consideration. There's a lot of fish in this game that you need to cook recipes. There's also a lot of fish in this game that sell for really nice money, like the catfish for example, and the lava eel. So if you accumulate baits like that, not only will it become easier to make those recipes, but it also becomes easier to get lots of money. I've done a few videos so far showcasing the exploit you can do with the Legend 2. You can use Legend 2 bait to increase your chances of capturing Legend 2, smoke it, and sell it for tons of money. Now I'm not going to show you the smoker in this video, because I felt like I'm after just abusing it over the past couple of weeks, and it's been almost every video that I've released so far. But if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know how powerful the smoker actually is. But if you combine that with the bait maker here, you've got some potent combos that will lead to huge amounts of money, and perfection does become that little bit easier when you're bringing in hundreds of thousands of gold on a daily basis. It also becomes much easier when you're able to get that fish you need to make those recipes. Now I just want to give you a little bit of a tip here, because a friend of mine done this and he wasted loads of money. Do not put a legendary fish into a bait maker, because you can only catch one of each legendary fish in the game. Even though the Legend 2 has the exact same stats as the Legend, it is a different fish. So do not, I repeat, do not bait your one-off legendary fishies. Next up, we are going to talk about a new item, the Heavy Furnace. The Heavy Furnace is an improved version of the furnace. It takes 25 ores, or 5 quartz, or fire quartz, and 3 coal to run, so you're saving coal. It has 40% coal in comparison to normal furnaces. Additionally, around half the time an extra bar is produced, so you can even get more from it. My advice is, if you're big on mining and most of your money comes from mining, consider taking the mining mastery when you've maxed out all of your skills as the first few perks. All you need to make the Heavy Furnace is 2 of your regular furnaces, so you can pickaxe up all your regular furnaces no problem. It's just 3 iron bars and 50 stone, so it's quite cheap to make, and it is absolutely worth the investment. I mean, you're not going to have hundreds upon hundreds of furnaces anymore. You just need maybe 10 or 15 of the heavy furnaces, and they will just melt through your ores in no time at all. It is absolutely amazing. If we take the end game mining into consideration, you have your crystallariums, you have your jades, you've got hundreds upon hundreds of staircases, and a regular skull cavern run can get you between anywhere from 300 iridium ores to 600 iridium ores. You can smelt all those by just using a few heavy furnaces, because they take 25 ores a piece. So 10 to 15 furnaces is more than enough to sort out all of those ores. So you're going to end up making a lot more money a lot faster, because all those ores that you've been sitting on originally that just stock up in your chest and you end up having hundreds and stacks of ores and you're trying to find the time to process them all, that's now a thing of the past. Now I do occasionally put all my furnaces in the mines, because I do go to the mines a lot. Even if I'm farming Skull Cavern, sometimes I find it better to go down into the mines if I need iron ores or copper ores specifically, or gold ores. So having them set up in the mines isn't a bad idea, but it's also maybe worth putting a few out in the desert and having a few back on the base, because they're so small, they're not going to take up huge amounts of space and they can take huge amounts of resources now. So my advice would be to spread them out now and have them all in different parts of the map, so you can quickly access one if you need to pop out some bars here and there to make some progression, to make some money, or to make some items that will help you along the road to perfection. I just got back a monstrous amount of iridium bars right there. That was just doing one regular Skull Cavern run. Those bars are going to sell for tons of money. The next thing we're going to talk about is the mini forge. Now in order to get to mini forge, you need 1 level of mastery to spend, and you're going towards the combat mastery perks. Now combat mastery unlocks a lot of cool stuff, but one of the really cool things it gives you is access to a mini forge. Now it doesn't give you an actual mini forge, you need to craft it along with the anvil as well, but it's basically a portable version of the forge found on floor 10 in the volcano dungeon. Its recipe is unlocked after you get the combat mastery. It acts exactly the same as the regular forge, and it can be placed anywhere. This means your days of going all the way to the 10th floor in the volcano are now over. Now you still need the cinder shards, so you would have to go to the volcano occasionally anyway, and farm the cinder shards, but you can just very easily bring those back home and store them in your farm, no problem at all. The mini forge can combine rings, just like the regular forge. You can enchant weapons, you can enchant tools, you can make your weapons stronger. You can disenchant things, you can break your rings apart, you can even transmogrify your weapons, you can transmogrify your shoes. There's just so many cool things you can do with these forges, and having the ability to do that in the comfort of your own bedroom is just incredible. And it just means that you're going to save a lot more time when it comes to the end game, when it comes to prepping your character, or if you want to make a certain style but you don't want to have to go all the way to the volcano. Even if you have all of the warp obelisks, you cannot directly warp to the volcano. Sure, you can get there quickly enough, but to have one literally just beside your bed or in your house or on your farm is a game changer. The next thing we're going to talk about is the treasure totem. This thing is absolutely insane. It's so much fun to use. So in order to get the treasure totem, you need to get a mastery level in foraging. This will give you the mystic tree seeds, the treasure totem, and some really cool foraging perks as well. Now, to make a treasure totem, we need 5 hardwood, which is fair enough. That's easy enough to get in the end game. 1 mystic syrup. Now, you get a mystic syrup when you grow a mystic tree seed into a tree and you put a tapper on it. Heavy tappers will give you the syrup twice as fast. Now, the mystic syrup sells for 1,000 gold, but you can also use it to make these treasure totems. So 5 hardwood, 1 mystic syrup, and 10 moss. Moss is very easy to get on the green rainy days, and they happen during the summertime. Now, you're guaranteed at least 1 in the summertime, so when you do get that green rainy day, take my advice and scour the entirety of the map as quickly as you can and get your hands on as much moss as possible, because moss is used to make some incredibly useful items in this game, including the treasure totem. Now, when you use a treasure totem, it crafts a whopping up to 16 artifact spots in a circle surrounding the player when used on tillable ground. So it matters where you use this to get its greatest effects. Use it when you're surrounded by tilled ground. As we can see, we've got tons of artifact spots we can now dig up. Now, because we use it on the farm, we're going to get artifact spots with items that are tethered to the farm. So if you're looking for a specific artifact, let's just say for example you wanted a dried starfish, you could use this on the beach and you could try to get a dried starfish easy enough that way. You could use it up in the mountain area and you could try to get a dinosaur egg, for example. It's also a great way to get the Book of Power, Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick, which gives you a permanent +1 to your defense. So it's just an amazing totem all around to use, and it's a great way to get those last few artifacts that you can't find otherwise. We're now going to talk about a new bobber called the Saar Bobber. Now, there's lots of mods out there that will show you what kind of fish you have hooked when you start fighting fish to put them up out of the waters. But if you want to play the game legitimately, the Saar Bobber will tell you what fish you have before you put it up. Now, the only good thing about this is that if you're trying to save time in real life, if you're looking for a specific fish and you don't want to waste time fighting fish that you don't need, the Saar Bobber is perfect. If you look closely at the fishing progress bar on the top right hand side of the bar, you'll see a little picture of the fish that you're fighting. So it's just a real handy way to showcase what kind of fish you have. Now, if you fish as much as I do, you don't really need it, because you can tell by how the fish behaves what kind of fish you have, especially when you look at the different types of fish that spawn in different seasons and different times. Eventually you won't need a Saar Bobber, but that's if you put thousands of hours into the game like me, and I know a whole lot of you don't have thousands of hours in the game. It is time to talk about, in my opinion, the most broken item that Stardew Valley has to offer. Out of all the items Concerned Ape has added to this game, the Star Drop Tea has to be insanely broken. But that's just my opinion. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. The Star Drop Tea is a universal loved gift by all. Nobody dislikes this thing. You give this to anyone and it's 250 friendship points in the bag for you. No questions asked. You give them a Star Drop Tea on their birthday, that's triple the points. But here's where it gets better, and this is what sets it apart from all of the other universal likes. You can chain up Star Drop Teas. You can give them an unlimited supply of Star Drop Teas. That means if you were to chain 2 Star Drop Teas together on someone's birthday along with their loved gift, you could easily max out their friendship. Let's take a test here, okay? It's Alex's birthday at the moment, okay? Now we have a fabulous food cooked up just for him. The complete breakfast is one of Alex's loved gifts. Now I could have used a key seasoning and I could have put a gold star on this and 18 more friendship points, but it's not needed. So I just got him up to green there. That's about 3 hearts out of 8 right there with Alex. I can now give him a star drop tea. That's going to push him straight up to 6 hearts out of 8. No problem at all. We're also going to bring him to the cinema and he should get at least 1 more heart from that. And that's going to almost maximize him. Now we can give him another star drop tea if we want after that, just to finish him off. So my advice is to save your star drop teas for the NPC's birthdays. And you will have absolutely no problem maxing out NPCs in no time in this game. Getting friendship points up with the NPCs is very important for perfection, because a lot of NPCs will not give you their secret recipes unless you meet a certain relationship threshold with them. Now there's loads of ways you can get star drop teas. Using Mayor Lewis's prize tickets is just one way. The raccoon will also occasionally reward you with a star drop tea. You can also get them from golding fishing treasure chests when you get the fishing mastery unlocked as well. So there's tons of ways you can get them. You can also get some from events as well. I'm pretty sure the Trout Derby and the Squid Fest award you with star drop teas if you do really well in those. Now here's a little exploit for you, and I will be making a glitch video soon, but I'm pretty sure the duplication glitch still works. So if you're playing on co-op mode, you can more than likely just duplicate those star drop teas and max out the valley in one day. That'll make for a fun video indeed. Last but certainly not least, we are going to talk about the Iidium Site. Now the Iidium Site was mentioned by Concerned Abe a good few months ago when he decided to put a post on his Twitter account saying just Iidium Site and broke half the internet. The Iidium Site is absolutely worth getting. You can now farm your crops with the site, and this means you're going to save an absolute ton of time. When it comes to perfection, time is always of the essence, because you want to get perfection as quickly as possible to make the most out of your playthrough. And we all have precious time in real life as well, so it's just so rewarding when you have a field with thousands upon thousands of crops and you can just pull out the site and just get rid of them within seconds. No more pulling up crops, the grind is over. You now have the Iidium Site, praise the Lord. You don't need to use the mod anymore. The site mod has officially been derailed. Hit that subscribe button or that giant melon will meet its end. Huge thanks to my channel members and a huge welcome to all my new channel members that I got recently. All channel members will be incorporated one way or the other in my upcoming 100-day Stardew Valley challenges and mega marathons. Stay tuned for more exciting Stardew Valley content.